Hey everybody. So I want to talk about a player that last season was one of the most talked about players in the league. Over the offseason, got a lot of talk about him and was, a lot of questions about him. But so far this season, I haven't really heard a whole lot about, and that player is Patrik Laine of the Winnipeg Jets. And before we get into the video, I just quickly want to remind everyone to please hit that thumbs up button and give the video a like. That greatly helps out the channel and is greatly appreciated. And if you're new, to please hit that subscribe button and follow along for all my hockey content this season and all year round. So Patrik Laine, there's no doubt, struggled last season. Only 30 goals. I know that seems weird to say. He had a 30-goal season, but only 30 goals and 50 points, minus 24 on the year. Really struggled and had a bad year for his standards with the Jets last season. Most of those 30 goals came in the month of November, and the rest of the season beyond November, he really struggled. Then he was an RFA this past offseason. There's a lot of talk about him possibly being traded. Then he ended up re-signing on a bridge deal with Winnipeg and staying with the Jets for this season. And so far this year, there hasn't been a whole lot of talk about Patrik Laine. So let's check in and see how he's doing. So Patrik Laine so far this year only has 6 goals on the season through 22 games, but he has 14 assists to have 20 points in 22 games. So pretty good, almost a point per game for Laine, but it's been really interesting how he's doing it, racking up assists at rates that we really haven't seen before. Laine's career high in assists came his rookie season when he had 28. He's already halfway to his career high in assists with 14 this year. He's been more of a distributor, and he's not scoring goals at a very high rate. He only has 6 on the season, and I think that might be a little bit concerning for Jets fans. I think you want to see more goal production out of him, but he's always been a player that scored more goals than assists. And 36 goals versus 28 assists his rookie year, 44 goals versus 26 assists his second season, 30 goals versus 20 assists last year. Now this year, only 6 goals, but the 14 assists. So it's kind of hard to say with Laine so far this year. I thought he was going to have a big-time bounce-back season after how disappointing last year was. And points-wise, he's doing well points-wise with 20 already on the season. I'd like to see a little more goal scoring out of him. I wish he was kind of at like 10 goals at this point. But we know that Laine's a guy who can score in bunches. And he tends to, when he gets hot, he tends to get really hot. And when he gets cold, he tends to go really, really cold. What I do like is that despite not scoring goals, he's still contributing with point production, and he's getting assists, and he's still scoring points. And I think that's important for Laine, and that's a sign of maturation and becoming more of an all-around player. And I think overall that this is good for Laine. This start to the season is good for Laine because rather than being completely dependent on goal scoring, he's now showing that he can contribute in other ways as well, and he can start to be a bit of a playmaker and get points in ways other than goal scoring, so that when the goal scoring does go dry, he's still able to be an important player and a useful player for the team. And last year I think it was like the goal scoring went dry, and then it was what is he doing? He's not really helping in any way. So I'm glad to see the assist numbers go up. I also, I'd like to see more goals, but Laine's a guy we know that just like that can turn it on and just rip it. And, he could go off for like 5 goals in 2 games, and next thing you know, he's at 11 goals on the season, and we're not talking about this goal drought anymore. So Laine's been an interesting guy this season. I think he's starting to round his game out more. He's starting to not be as heavily reliant on the goal scoring, and he's still finding ways to contribute, even though his goal total is not really that high this year. I really like the 20 points in 22 games. That shows that he is still an important player for the team. He's a useful player, and he's contributing even without a high level of goal scoring. Now, imagine if he gets hot. He's holding his own right now. He's doing well. He's still putting up points. Imagine now if he goes on a hot streak and really rips off a 10-game stretch where he scores a bunch of goals. We're going to be looking at, somebody who's significantly improved over where he was last season, and somebody who will be having a big bounce back year. So Laine is without a doubt a guy that I'm keeping an eye on. I think he's going to be someone to watch to see if he can go on a hot streak and start ripping some goals. Because if the goal totals catch up to where his point totals and assist totals have been this season, I think he's going to be, one of the top goal scorers again this season. Just hasn't really happened yet. He hasn't gotten a whole lot of traction as far as goal scoring goes this year. Only 6 on the season. But again, he's a streaky guy, and when he gets hot, he can get really, really hot. So I thought we'd see more goals out of Laine this season. So I'm a little surprised at how slow the goal scoring has been, but I'm very, very impressed with the assist total and the way he's been able to still contribute points even without scoring goals, which certainly was kind of an issue for him last year where he wasn't really contributing at all. Now he's finding ways to contribute even without scoring. I do want to see that scoring pick back up, and I think it will. I think he has overall a big-time bounce-back season this year. I said that before the season started. I'm still sticking with that. I just think he needs to get hot. He needs a good month, and we know he can score in bunches and really take off. So keep an eye on Patrik Laine. I think he is ready to take off and really start putting the puck in the net. But even without great goal-scoring totals this season, he's still contributing. He's still had good point totals. And he's finding ways to round out his game a little bit more. And I think, the assists have been really impressive this season. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.